Hey everyone, this is me, Finley Abo, the amazing Spider Boy. So, She-Hulk episode 7 review and breakdown. So, let's get into the video. So, Jennifer Walters is having a very good time with the date called Josh. So, I think you know who Josh is. He's the same person whom she met at the her friend Lola's wedding. So now she goes with him, like she's doing the date with her for like about 3 to 1 week, I think. So she's having a very good time for 1 week with her. So finally she gets too close with her, and so she even like came to. I mean, like he even came to her home, and like all the stuff. So the next day after she had a good time with Josh, uh, she doesn't get any like kind of text message or call from Josh. So she keeps on seeing her phone that whether she get a message from Josh or not. But still, even after like 1 day, she doesn't get any like chats or message from him. So from that, she became like like kind of like a depressed person. So the next day after she doesn't get any message or text from Josh, she gets a call. So she was so excited to pick up the call, like whether whether it's Josh who's calling. But when she picked up the phone, someone else called her. So the person who's called her and said, Jennifer Walters, it's Chuck Donnell, and it's me, the parole of Emil Blonsky. So I have a thing to tell you. So okay, so what is the thing that you have to tell me? So Chuck explains to Jennifer Walters that Emil Blonsky was supposed to meet me in the counseling, but he didn't come here to meet me. So I think that you and me have to go and visit him. So maybe I'm afraid that whether he has turned into the abomination or something else that happened. So I need you to come with me to check him. So anyways, Jennifer Waters agreed to this, and so she and Chuck goes to the place where Emil Blonsky lives. So now Jennifer Waters and the parole of Emil Blonsky, Chuck, has come to the place where Emil Blonsky lives in. So they go so they both went to inside his house, and that's when Emil Blonsky comes in, and so that's when the counseling thing happened. Like they were checking the pressure that what he has. So he didn't turn to any abomination, so there was no any like danger stuff happened to Emil Blonsky. So that parole was like very peaceful right now. So he went to his house, and so that's when Emil Blonsky and Jennifer Walters just like had a chat. And that's when a man was thrown to Jennifer Walters' car, and so the man just like got landed in the car, and the car broke, and it's Jennifer's car. So she gets shocked and says, "What the hell is going on?" And that's when another man comes from the forest, and so he just like comes to try to hit the person who just like got hit by the car. And that's when Jennifer just transforms herself to She-Hulk, and so she stopped from the person who's just like trying to show. She stopped it and asked, "Who the hell are you? Why did you do this?" So you have to pay for this. So you literally have to pay for this because you broke my car, and so you really have to pay for this. And that's when Emil Blonsky explains that these two are my students, so please don't get any like panic. So that's when they two introduce themselves to Jennifer. So the first man just introduced himself as I'm Man Bull, and another man introduced himself, I'm El Aguilar. So Emil Blonsky explained to Jennifer that these two are my students in trying to control their anger, and so they're trying to overcome anger. So that's the thing I'm teaching to students. And so that's when thought to herself, okay, so this guy is just like changed everything. So and that's when they both have another chat. So that's where they talked and all about the stuff. But still, Jennifer Waters was in the place where Emil Blonsky is in. So she just like got a phone, and so she just searches for signal that whether she can get any Wi-Fi, but that house didn't have any Wi-Fi, so she just goes outside, and so she just like sees whether if she could get any signal. So that's when she went to inside the house, and that's when she was like, oh, I got a signal. And so she looks at the place, and that's where Emil Blonsky and the students of his were sitting in chairs, and so they were discussing about the anger management. So Emil Blonsky was teaching to them how to control your anger and how to overcome your anger, what are the stuff you have to do. So Emil Blonsky asked Jennifer to please sit down, and so you just like rest yourself. So she just like sits, and so she just like goes through messages. So that's when a person comes from the bathroom, and so she looked at him, and she got shocked, because so that's when she realized that's the same guy who literally tried to beat the hell out of me. So that's the same guy who appeared in the third episode of She-Hulk, that group of thugs. So he's the one of the thugs, and so Jennifer like sees him, and so she just like tries to beat him. So she transforms herself into Hulk, and so she goes to him. So she just threw him into in the corner of the room, and so he just like got punched, and so she was like trying to hit that guy. So that's when Emil Blonsky asked, please Jennifer Walters, don't do this is not the thing you have to do, so please just come and sit in the chair and calm yourself. And she said, okay, I will get out of this place when I'm gonna rip in half, and so please just let me just explain to you, and then you just like do whatever that you have to do to me. So that's when they both sit in the chair where the rest of the guys were sitting. So he explains that I tried to become a supervillain, but now I realized how bad it is, so that's why I tried to do that. I'm really sorry. So she just like, okay, so you literally exchanged right now, I don't believe this. So anyways, that's when the persons just like discussing that what are the bad things that people did to them, and what are the bad things that people they do to the people. So they were discussing that thing. So that's the time when that came to Jennifer Walters. So she said to she just opened and she expressed her story to them. So saying that I had a date, a guy called Josh, but now he didn't text me. I think the reason why most people just like the She-Hulk version of me, but no people really like the version of Jennifer, the Jen version of me. I don't know why people do that. So that's where the people who are sitting in the room just said to Jennifer that please delete him so that you will get a fresh mind, so you will get a clear mind. So you know what, you just do that and you will be very happy. So she just like suddenly did that and deleted it, and so she was so relieved, and she had a very good time with the people around them. So that's when she leaves, and so she said, thank you guys, I really like this. Now I'm very clear in my mind. I really have to thank you for doing this, guys. So, and again, Emil Blonsky just said that you can come up whenever you want, but Jen said, I will not come until you put a Wi-Fi here. So she just cracked the joke at him. So that's when she left the tow truck where they get the car and so that stuff. So she didn't go by the car, she gone by the truck with some person to her home. So that's when she said to herself that I'm ready right now, so let's see what happens next. So and confirm that they just showed that just like 3 days earlier. So that's when they showed us that the Josh is one of the guys who just tries to kill She-Hulk. So they showed us that him transferring all the database, all the stuff, photos, the data, some messages from Jen's phone to his phone, just like transferring and stuff. So she gets dressed, and so again he clicks a photo of Jen, and he leaves outside her home, and that's when the episode got ended. So now let's get into the breakdown. So the time when Jennifer Walters deletes Josh's number, so they just show us the light, just like a very light second of Jennifer's contacts, and in the contacts you can see Luke Jacobson. So the Luke Jacobson is the person who made the costume for Jennifer, the She-Hulk outfit, the costume. So that means that Jennifer still has Luke Jacobson's number. So yeah, so this is the only detail I found at this episode. There is no other detail I found. So yeah, so this is only the detail which I found, guys. So this episode didn't have any other post-credit scenes, and so the thing is that really irritates me is that they didn't show Daredevil in this episode too. So there's only 2 episodes left, and I think they have no choice other than they show us Daredevil in this episode. They're just like, they're tricking us every time in every episode. We just get hyped to to watch the next episode, that whether is Daredevil come in this episode, is that Daredevil is gonna come in this episode. But no, they didn't show any Daredevil in this episode too. So I think that's why really people hate this series so much. But yeah, so today episode was just like not that good. So it was just like very, 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 very below average. Just like that's it didn't have any story at all. So I think this episode doesn't need to be in the series. This episode is just like waste of time. So my rating for today's episode would be a 3 out of 10. So yeah, so let's just wait to the next episode. So yeah, guys, so hope you enjoyed this video. Put a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See ya. Bye.